we're talking about love today because we have a new book that contains 101 awesome stories about the miracle of love. There is so much variety in the way that everyone talks about how they met their special someone, whether it was through serendipity or some kind of divine intervention, or my favorite, destiny, because it was just plain meant to be. And that takes us to Lisa Marlin's story. Lisa was 16 and working at an amusement park in Missouri the first time she saw the boy. He told her he lived in Kansas and she should look him up if she was ever there, and then he was off with his friends. Lisa was smitten, but she knew she would never see him again because he was from Kansas and she lived in Missouri. But then 2 years later, she randomly saw him again in Colorado in a park where her frisbee landed on his picnic table. She had to rush off to be with her friends, but she told them that she had seen the boy with the brown eyes again. She says, "My friends teased me on the bus. They'd already tired of hearing how I'd lost my one true chance at love." 30 years later, Lisa was living in Colorado, and a nice-looking middle-aged man walked into her office. It was that teenage boy, all grown up. And here's a photo of Lisa and Ron recreating that frisbee meeting in that park in Colorado. We have lots more of these meant-to-be stories in our new book, and also so many stories from people who were just friends until they realized they really weren't. Jeannie Jacobson tells us that after her divorce, she decided she would never fall in love again. But then a tall, fit, gorgeous guy moved in next door, and he was sunning himself in his pickup truck right under her window. Jeannie called him Thor in her head, and they became friends when he knocked on her door one day, and they started going on non-dates to the movies and to dinner. Here's one of Jeannie's favorite photos of Jake back then, plus another photo of the day they renewed their vows on their 25th wedding anniversary. Sometimes you have to step outside your comfort zone and make a connection. That's what happened to Jill, who was going through a hard time and found herself listening to the music of a guy named David Burns over and over again because the lyrics really spoke to her and comforted her. After listening to his music for years, she got his number and she called him, and that first conversation lasted for hours. You can see what happened from the photos. And now Jill Burns says, "I find it mind-blowing that I fell in love with my husband's music long before I fell in love with him, never suspecting that he was my soulmate." There's always hope, and we learn that from these stories. I love what Joyce Heiser did. She was not even dating anyone, but one day she impulsively bought a wedding gown at a secondhand store. And then she was a little embarrassed when 6 years passed without finding Mr. Right. But then she finally met him, and they were engaged in a week. And voila, she already had the dress. The miracle of love can happen when you least expect it, at any age and at any time. And that's what makes this new Chicken Soup for the Soul collection so fascinating and so much fun.